The War on Poverty After 40 Years, a Minskyan Assessment by Stephanie Bell and L. Randall Wray. The liberals' war on poverty was born out of neoclassical theory, in which it is the poor, not the economy, that is to blame for poverty. The war on poverty tried to change the poor, not the economy. Minsky, 1971. Introduction. The war on poverty turned 40 just a few short months ago. It is fitting, if embarrassing, that no national celebration marked the occasion. It is a war most Americans would like to forget, a war only half-heartedly embraced by Washington, a war decisively lost. As Hyman Minsky remarked barely 1 year into the battle, quote, "The war against poverty is a conservative rebuttal. It can spread poverty more fairly. However, this approach, standing by itself, cannot end poverty." End quote. Minsky characterized the original war on poverty as an attempt to upgrade workers, and any number of programs have been created since 1964 to improve the education, skills, and incentives of the jobless to make them more appealing to private sector employers. Further, Keynesian policies to raise aggregate demand in order to stimulate private sector employment have also been adopted on the belief that economic growth would raise the demand for labor and thereby lift the boats of the poor. Still, unemployment rates have trended upward. Long-term unemployment has become increasingly concentrated among the labor force's disadvantaged. Poverty rates have remained stubbornly high. Real wages for most workers have declined, and labor markets in residential neighborhoods have become increasingly segregated as the haves constructed gated communities and the have-nots are left behind in the crumbling urban core. This brief will examine what went wrong and Minsky's alternative to the war on poverty. Briefly, the economic theories on which the war on poverty was based misunderstand the nature of poverty. The notion that economic growth together with supply-side policies to upgrade workers and provide proper work incentives would be enough to eliminate poverty was recognized by Minsky at the time to be fallacious. Indeed, evidence suggests that economic growth mildly favors the haves over the have-nots, increasing inequality, and that jobs do not simply trickle down, at least at the levels of growth usually experienced in the post-war period. Further, most of the early success in eliminating poverty had to do with expansion of Social Security for the aged. It had little to do with either more rapid growth or the war on poverty programs. According to Minsky, the critical component that was missing in 1964 and that remains AOL in 2004 is a government commitment to full employment. Only a targeted jobs program paying decent wages will successfully fight poverty among the non-aged in a politically acceptable manner.